are.
Here we are.
Once again,
Episode 2
two
of the Coaches Podcast.
Coaches Podcast. That's it. We're back.
We're back.
We're back. That's
All
it.
right, So, probably should introduce ourselves again. Damien Collins, Cheeky Monkey Squash. Joel.
Yeah, Joel Liberatori, Worldwide Tennis Academy head coach. Yeah, that's it.
Back for the second episode. Here we are.
Absolutely. Back. It's
All right.
Monday. It's Monday night.
Monday night.
Monday night. Yeah, we did this.
It's a late one
So
tonight.
it's a late. It is a late one tonight. 20 to 10.
20 to 10. It's a late one.
Both just got off court.
Yep. It's brilliant.
That's
Life
it.
of the coach.
Yeah, absolutely. You get those sort of hours, eh?
Yeah.
Those sort of hours and
it's-
stuff like that.
I find it funny that you can go some days where you've just got, it feels like you've got no work at all.
Mm.
And then you get other days where, well, I've been here since 8:30 this morning. It'll probably be 11 o'clock midnight by the time we start to get out of here. So, you know, doing the long hours.
Oh, yeah, but you get those sort of days.
Yeah.
You get those sort of days. You're going to be a lot busier and more full on than others.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the way it goes. You know, sometimes. So.
But would you prefer to be doing anything else?
Nah,
Really?
definitely not.
Like,
Nah,
I reckon we've got the best job in the world.
absolutely. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, there's not a lot of people that could really step into an occupation and wholeheartedly say that they really enjoy what they do. There's not,
Yeah,
there's not,
no,
many
that's-
people doing that
Yeah.
that could say that.
It sounds something that I say to people quite often is, I could earn a lot more money doing other things with my life,
Mhm.
but I'd be so miserable.
Yeah.
Where at the moment I earn an okay living, but I'm doing what I love every day of the week.
Mm.
Well, by the time I get a break now, I'd be close to 20 odd days straight, because the weekend where I was meant to have a weekend off just gone, I end up doing coaching sessions
you go.
for makeup sessions for students, but
Yeah. It happens.
getting a couple of students ready for some PSA events and that sort of thing, which is all fun and games.
That's it.
Anyway, what have you been up to in the last couple of weeks since?
Well, since we had our last little chat, yeah, it's actually been quite interesting, and it's probably going to be the main focus for today. Was we had the Challenger event. There were like the ATP Challenger event last week in Olympic Park.
Okay, yeah.
It's the New South Wales Open, and obviously Tom was preparing. Like, we were hoping he would try to get him into that particular event.
Yep.
Unfortunately, just missed out on qualies.
Oh.
Yeah, like just that ranking, just the cutoff, just missing out. And even the week prior, missed out on South Australia in Playford, as well, on the Challenger as well. So just on that brink there of just sneaking into qualies.
Yep.
For the Challenger events, but at the same time, for those ITF events that we were speaking about,
Yeah.
is starting to borderline main draw now,
Okay.
which has been
That's
really
exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So yeah, doing a lot of work with Tom recently, and he was hitting with a lot of good players.
Yep.
Out last week at that particular event. Matthew Dellavedova, currently top 600 roughly.
Okay.
No,
Yep.
top, no, been as high
Yeah,
as
so-
about 550 or so.
Moving up there.
Definitely. And then a few other people he was hitting with out there. I think Colin Sinclair was another one. He was hitting with him last week, and also another player from Queensland, Marani, as well.
Yeah.
So a few different quality like players that he's hitting with and training with, which is great. Obviously, need to be playing against those sort of players at that level.
At that level. Yep.
And that probably brings me into that first part, what we're speaking about, like looking at that level, because I know that we had the New South Wales Open last week with this ATP Challenger event, but we also know that this weekend's
the New South Wales Open for the squash.
That's it. So it's a PSA
event.
So there you go. So
the best up and coming players from at least Australia will be at this one, and a couple of Pakistanis as well. So
That's it.
you know,
It's a good level, isn't it?
it's a good level. I've got one of the players that can't. It's tough. I can't really say she's one of my players, but at the same time, it's not as if she's not one of my players.
You're working with her.
Good friend of mine, Hayley Ho. It's going to be her first PSA event,
That's massive.
which is really exciting.
It is very exciting. For those who don't know Hayley or haven't seen her play, like she's quite a weapon on court. She's quite a weapon.
She's extremely fit.
Yep.
Able to just force you to play that one more shot. One more shot. So it's something that she's been a bit apprehensive about trying to play PSA for a while, and it's taken a little bit of encouraging to say, let's just put you in a draw.
See how you go.
See how you go.
Yeah.
You know, you've got nothing. I think this goes to everyone who's starting to maybe get to that point where it's should I, shouldn't I? What do you have to lose?
Nah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
What do you really have to lose? At worst case scenario, you go in, you get knocked out first round, you learn a lot from the match experience, but you've also got a story.
That's true.
You've got something where you can say, hey, and for the rest of your life, you can say, hey, I did this. I managed to play at a PSA level.
Yeah.
I managed to play at a professional level in whatever sport. Tennis, squash, soccer.
Anything.
You've got nothing to lose by just giving it a shot.
Absolutely. And like the fact that they have these sort of events and they're being played in Australia is a massive thing. So when you have players that you're working with, if they're able to like enter in and even so Tom was obviously, like I just said, was very close to making that qualifying list. Just unfortunately, just missing out, But regardless, just being around these sort of players and being in that environment, and I'm assuming it's the same thing when you come to the PSA events. Just seeing the different caliber of players that actually turn up to these events, it's a different world.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a lyric from a Bliss and Esso song.
Bliss and Esso.
Bliss and Esso.
Wow, this is taking me back to like my high school days.
High school days. But
Wow.
I never win or lose. I only win or learn.
Yeah,
and that's all any of this really actually is.
it's true. It's true.
It's if you're not winning, you've learned something, and even half the time when you are winning, you're learning stuff.
But that's it. It's very true. You make a very good point. And it's quite interesting because when you go to these events, knowing the sort of caliber of players that you're working with or you're going to be potentially playing against and you want to get to that level, that's where those sort of leaps and bounds tend to happen.
Yeah.
At that level, I mean, you can stay at a club level, pennant level, which is a ridiculous level of squash still. If you're playing top tier pennant, it's
still a decent.
It's a decent knock.
Yeah.
But to go to that next level, looking at for these PSA events or these from ITF to the challenges, it's a big jump.
Oh yeah.
It's a big jump.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn a lot from the players that are there. Like for example, I'm going to put into context now, and for everyone watching, knows their tennis. At the New South Wales Open last week, like Thanasi Kokkinakis was top seed. So Kokkinakis was top seed. Obviously, you have a few other, because it's in Australia, you're going to have predominantly Australian players that are there, because players from traveling to Australia, obviously we know getting out to other countries is quite expensive, and probably getting down here is quite expensive as far as finances are concerned. That's probably for another episode, I think. Definitely is in the talks for sure.
That's a whole episode within itself.
Oh, I think it is, and that will probably be. We could probably make that next week.
Yeah.
Or the next 2 weeks' time. We could probably do that.
Yeah.
But you're looking at the likes of Thanasi Kokkinakis, Rinky Hijikata. You're looking at the likes of Taro Daniel which is another
Yeah.
Japanese player, which is so incredibly solid. Mark Polmans. These guys are all top level players, and they're probably not even challenger level.
Yeah.
These guys are like playing at top level of ATP. They're playing Grand Slams.
Yeah.
These sort of guys, you know, they're getting
Yeah.
they're playing slams. They're playing the Masters 1000s, 500s, 250s. So there's a lot to learn. Being in that environment, and like you were just saying about the learning part of it is huge. Being in that environment around those sort of players, you learn a lot. I like with the few days that I was there, looking around and watching a few of these players here, being on court with Tom, and watching how people go about their business. It's a different world. It's a completely different world to when you know we're doing maybe club level or wherever it might be. But if you immerse yourself in that, you learn so much. I learned heaps just by being around in that environment. You see the caliber of players that are out there. I'm sure it'll be the same thing for this weekend.
Mates with, well, as you know, I'm mates with Brad Ford.
That's right.
And he trains some players over at Thornley. He's a head coach over there, up and coming pro. And I find whenever I'm over there, I generally say, "Hey, mate, do you want to have a bash?" I still remember when he was a junior, I'd be able to run him around court. Now he can essentially dictate how many points I'm going to get in the match.
Yeah.
He's at that level. But every time you're on court with him, there's something to be learned.
Yes.
And it might be something like, for you squash players out there, there was a game I played with him where he put in 2 drop shots. Both drop shots were above the service line, which sounds like a ridiculous shot. He won both rallies.
Yeah.
Off the very next shot he played.
Yeah.
And then when I went back to him and said, "Why'd you do this?" He explained, because of the position, how tight I'd played my previous drop and the position that we were both in. Had he have just put a stock standard drop in, I would have had a stroke.
Yeah.
Right? Too tight against the wall to get across court. And with me tucked in right behind him, made no sense to drive. So the idea of playing above service line height was to give himself enough time to get out, recover before I could get in and play my next shot.
Yeah.
For an average, like even myself, state level sort of player, I'd never think to do something like that.
But isn't it interesting how now, like how he explained it to you?
Yep.
Now you're able to relay it back.
Yep.
And see that whole process differently.
Yeah, it actually kind of changed the whole way I think about the game. It's just that little thing there, and now the amount of times I find myself in a similar position, it's like, oh, I know what to do now.
It's interesting, isn't it?
I used to get frustrated being in that position, getting strokes caught against or hitting a crap shot.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, I know exactly what I need to do. I know where I need to position myself best to get that next shot. And he also told me what I should be doing when someone plays that shot to me.
That's the level, isn't it?
But it's just that it's the next level thinking that those elite level players have. It's their understanding.
It's very true, isn't it?
There's something that I've said a few times. I think we all get to a certain level where if you were to put a target on the wall or on the court in tennis, you'd probably I think you'd find the same in tennis at least. You get to a certain level, you might be A grade to state grade, in around there, where every player would be able to hit that target. It might be the bottle on the court. And every player would be able to hit it 7 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times. Fairly consistency. Right, so it shows that everyone there from that sort of A grade state level up, everyone's got a ridiculous amount of accuracy and hand skills. So I think the difference between A grade to state grade to open grade in squash, PSA, is a lot about knowledge. Shot selection, knowledge about where you want to be positioned based on where you've just hit your last ball and where your opponent's striking from. The whole game for me is just about knowledge.